Renasance Wednesday. Wednesday.
Yay! Welcome to season 2 of NASA's Wednesday Musings, and I'm super excited to be doing this again. Happy to be speaking my mind, sharing my thoughts, musings, as I call it, on important topics that I think that people will be interested to hear about, my perspectives and other people's perspectives. Season 1 was all about me, my monologues, just sharing my views on certain topics, but season 2 is going to be a lot more different because I'm bringing people on to share their views as well. This season, the broad topic is what do traditional husbands want from their wives? And within that broad topic, we'll be looking at a range of subtopics. The first for this series of conversations in 3 parts is office husbands. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my posts, my content, and share with your family and friends. I'd love for you to be part of this community. In this 3-part series, I'm going to be delving into an intriguing and quite entertaining topic, I dare say, and it's the phenomenon called office husband. So this is a term, and I'll define it. It's a term that has become increasingly popular in the Nigerian workplace, and it's refers to a platonic relationship, allegedly, between male and female colleagues in the workplace, where they tend to share a lot of intimate time, I suppose, and this person becomes like your partner in crime, if like a companion that you can rely on, and there's care, etc. And the question is, should this even be happening? And I understand that we spend a vast majority of our time in the office, especially if you're a working class person, and so you start to cultivate this kind of relationships that I guess can start to have blurred lines in terms of, is this beyond professionalism, or is this now going in directions where it shouldn't be going? But before I invite my amazing guests to come and share their musings, I'm going to read a story that I stumbled upon recently. It was an influencer. She had posted a series of stories called Office Husbands, and different women had shared their office husband stories. I'm going to look at Aisha's story. She's a 42-year-old woman. I'll just read that. So she says, "Sometimes I wonder if what I do is wrong. Been married to my husband for almost 10 years now. He's caring and sweet, but I feel like he doesn't just get me sometimes, especially when it's related to my career. I have a guy friend at work who I've gotten quite close to over the years. Nothing is going on between us, of course. He's also married with kids. He's a really good listener and can empathize with my experiences in the office. He's like my personal hype man at work, and I'm his. That man wears many hats at times. He's even my therapist. Balancing motherhood with work can be overwhelming, and my husband doesn't make it easy with his occasional guilt tripping. It hurts because he always knew I was career driven. What I vent with my friend at work is mainly work related, to be honest." And she ended this with, "Is this wrong?" So this post got me musing on how office husband has actually become a thing, because in my experience, when the term office husband was used, it was used in the most harmless way. I didn't even think of it beyond a joke that it was like banter. It was some guy in my office, and he could have also been the office clown. It didn't mean anything. I didn't think of him beyond those jokes, like, oh, I think this person is like my confidant, etc. So I just started to wonder, like, okay, is Aisha doing something wrong here? And she asked the question herself, where do we draw the boundaries? To share their musings with me, I have some very amazing minds in the studio, and I have Sheung. Welcome. Thank you. And I have Yomi.
Hi.
Thank you. And the only gentleman who will be harassing today, Jide.
Yeah. How's everyone?
Thank you. Okay, guys. So we'll start in this first part, the first part of the conversation. We're going to focus on the case study, Aisha's story. And the question she asked at the end is she wrong? So who'd like to go first? I think I'm going to start with Yomi.
Endless joy. All right. So is Aisha wrong? I don't know. Is she wrong? I don't think she's wrong. In terms of the office husband phenomenon, I think the term is the phenomenon, but in terms of the relationship, you've always had those relationships. You've always had an office bestie. You've always had an office clique. And usually there was at least one person that you had an office flirtation. Now, all of those things, in my opinion, are necessary to get through the trauma that is going to work. Okay? I think that it's important that one has a support system, and it's healthy for you to have relationships and connect in a real sense with the people you're working with, because you're with them at least 8 hours of the day and you're with them every single day. So for me, her relationship with her office husband is what she needs in order to get through that. Having a confidant, having someone who understands her, having someone who's looking out for her, having someone who, I mean, if you imagine people on the war front, you need someone who's watching your back. You need someone who, if they walk past the MD's office and they overhear someone discussing your project, they come back and tell you, this is what's going down. So for me, I don't think what she's doing is wrong, especially because she hasn't crossed any lines. She's very clear on the boundaries of the relationship. And, you know, there's something about the people who are in the trenches with you and how they see and understand what you're going through in a way that no one else does. You can call your sister, you can call your husband, your boyfriend, your mom, and they can empathize, but they don't fully understand what you're going through. The people in the trenches see and go through what you are going through. So they are able to support you in a way that those who love you are not able to. So I think that as long as she's not crossing any boundaries, she's not doing anything wrong. So, I mean, that's my opinion.
That's your opinion. Thank you very much for sharing very truthfully. And so on the back of that, I'm going to move to the gentleman amongst us to share his views.
That's a very tricky situation. You have to look at it from two sides, because you're looking at it from a side of the story. Because, okay, yes, she's talking about work, and I hope she's talking about purely work. Because when you're talking about is your therapist, that means I'm telling you, maybe that was a day in the morning that my husband pissed me off and I want to like vent at someone, and I'm venting at my office best friend. Now, your office best friend, have you ever even thought about his own view concerning you?
As a guy, you know this.
Because the issue is, we tend to have this notion that women are more attachment, like they get used to people they speak to, they get used to people they see. Men also have emotions. You can't be there for me all the time and expect me to walk away. You can't be there for me all the time and expect, I think I can treat you better than your husband. Definitely, because let me give you a small story. When I was growing up, you know, all of us used to have this, your best friend. Oh, your parents are telling you, you guys are gonna get married.
Your wife, huh?
Perfect. Now I was in year 7. When I grew up, I was schooled in the UK. So year 7 is like GS1. And there was a girl, Jarina, like she's a Jamaican girl. She was in year 9, that's like GS3. So because of the fact that we were always together talking, so on this fateful day on the bus, I think her boyfriend broke up with her. So I was the shoulder to cry on. Like, I was there.
You're the office.
You know, that was a school husband.
Yeah.
So I was there to like cater for her, and I was like, okay, good. I was loving it. For like 3 weeks, we were going to school together and everything. So Valentine's Day, I just put a card, like, be my vow. She was like, no, I'm your friend.
So did you get the wires crossed? Because on her side, she's thinking, Jide is like a good, yeah, but then you had a different view.
And do you know that stuff like that, no matter how little it was, it affects you. Let me give you a home truth right now. Because of that, I never toasted anyone.
Oh my goodness.
Because I don't know what she's on. I don't, like, she might just be my friend.
Because you're there reading something and then someone tells you that
Exactly.
you read wrong. I can imagine.
So, and that now happened to me. Because now I'm in the corporate world, we work, and you're in the aviation sector, right? Airline business, cabin crews, air hostesses. You've seen so many, and you play with all of them, right? because it's your job. You're their boss, so obviously you have to. And you can't get because somebody's always like, "Oh, good morning, sir." You think she's into you, and she might not. So that's what I'm saying. That you might think you're cool, but emotions is irrespective of no one. So how you show that he's cool with you, and not nursing something.
Exactly.
Because you might think, "Oh, I buy him breakfast." To you, buying him breakfast is nothing.
It's nothing.
But
But
to
then to
him, it's
him, it means
like-
a million and one
Maybe his
things.
love language is active service.
You know? You know what? Hold that thought, Judy. I love your angle. I'm going to move to Shim.
She's wrong.
Shim. She's wrong. That's your verdict. Okay. Judy says Aisha is wrong. Okay. Shim.
Okay, really, well, I don't want to say she's wrong or right, because no one wakes up one morning and sets out to say this person is my office husband, or this person. You just find yourself always available for this person. So okay, if you're from the man's side, or from the man's perspective, you'll find yourself always available for somebody. You're the general shoulder to cry on, and it just happens that there's some people that want to cry more than the other, and then just happens to. So it's not like you set out and say to yourself, "Oh, I'm going to be the official office husband." We have the general office clowns that they're always there for everyone, but you then have what she's playing out is there's this specific person that is always just there, and breakfast, and this is what my husband did. I would not. I would say it. I won't say it's wrong or it's right. It depends on what you both have set out to. Because what happens is a lot of these issues when you hear people break up, or people have issues in their marriage because of some person. It's not. No one has ever intentionally tried to. But for why I said it's not wrong is she's aware. Yes, our intentions are clear that this person is just my friend that I can always reach out to at work. But there's some people who already have the wrong intention, so that what makes it from the guy's side. It may not even be from the guy. It might even be from the girl's side. Like, okay, let me be the person this guy's or because men like when
People need them. Yeah.
So what if the guy was not needed at home, and then there's this?
He feels like
So it's
and because he's also married in this context, right?
So it might kind of. So it's not good and it's not bad. It's good because sometimes too you need to give your husband a break at home and just find someone else to kind of vent on. Or the other part is okay, it's bad because you might end up in places that you don't plan to end up in. So it's like more of like you have to see from both perspectives, really. So if we had the guy's story, for instance, it would be easier to dissect
his story. And I think the part that got me was, starting off, saying, I have a friend and a confidant in the office that is male isn't bad until you start to talk about, he's your therapist. This means that, it's like, he's not a professional.
Because it's a man, is that what the issue is?
It is.
That it's the opposite sex.
It is.
So the fact that you have someone in the office that you can rely on, who brings breakfast and you bring lunch, and you banter
because you're married, both of you are committed to other people, and then the question you want to ask yourself is, am I comfortable, sharing this information? Like, so if my husband knows, is he going to be comfortable with it? Ideally, I'm not saying you can't have friends outside of your spouse. I'm just saying, ideally, when somebody else outside of your marriage is who you rely on for comfort, and I'm just not.
So is she relying on him for everything? Because my understanding is when she's in the office, she's got this person she can confide in.
So where she says, balancing motherhood with work can be overwhelming, and my husband doesn't make it easy with his occasional guilt tripping. So guess what? She's moving. She's like, look, my husband doesn't do it for me, but this guy at work does it for me. And
more than work.
So can I say something?
Yes.
Not necessarily.
Sorry, let's see. Sharon, what do you want to say?
So, when you said make examples, for instance, if you had from the beginning, I've used myself as an example, just from the beginning.
Not your friend.
Not my friend.
Not your friend. No, you're not your friend.
So I'm the only one with a friend.
You're the only one with a friend.
So when my husband and I were dating, right, he said stories of how past friendships or whatever, and it would be stupid of me to think that he might just be saying it. He may have just said it like he's just giving me gist, or might have said it just to drive home a point. And I remember him saying a story about some lady that he was friends with who had a best friend that was a guy. And he remember dropping her off one day at the guy's house, only to find out that there are other things going on. And long story short, now it'll be foolish of me to then hear that story and then knowing fully well that okay, he already has this notion about a woman having, whether you're in a relationship, having this. And I remember I had a very close friend from NYC, and he had his own girlfriend. That's even before I met my husband, and it was clear his girlfriend knows I'm her boyfriend. I was not like best friend per se, but closest female friend. And if she had issues, for instance, she had issues with him, she would call me and say, she's messed up, or please let me talk to. Or I was like that middle man, but I also had my own relationship as well. And my boyfriend then also was aware that there was this person, but that was all it was. And but by the time when I was getting married, somehow we just kind of I didn't wake up one morning and say, I can't talk to you again because my husband. No, it just happened that okay, where are you now? Okay, he got married before, he had kids before I got married, but I used to go to their house, play with the kids, take the kids. But the moment I got married, it was different because I knew him and his wife as one. He did not know mine. So whatever I was coming in with, you had to respect the fact that okay, this girl is kind of.
And I think it comes from you just respecting the other person's sort of like privacy or their new situation and saying, look, you know what, I don't need to be told. Just personally, does this seem right? And I'd like to know what you think about that, Yomi, in terms of just I know I have situations where nobody needs to tell me anything. This person I used to be really close to, they're getting married, and I just sort of start to draw the boundaries without being told because it just comes innately. What do you think?
I think things like this happen organically. I think that there are some people who, especially with women, you have some women who they get married and then they cut everyone off. It's all about my husband, and everyone has advised me that my best friend, she's the one who's going to try and steal your husband. We've known each other for 20 years. She didn't steal him before, but watch out for her. So you have some women who do that and usually end up regretting it. Then you have some women that just in terms of life responsibilities, you find yourself drifting. And it's not only with male relationships, it's with all relationships. So after work, you used to hang out with your best friend and the two of you would go somewhere, have dinner somewhere, or this person comes over for dinner or you go over for dinner, but then you get married and it's like, okay, you have someone who you have a date with every night now. And in terms of traffic, in terms of, there's something about paying bills that like helps you prioritize.
It resets your brain.
You don't know when it happens. You just realize you're not really going out like you used to. Mm-hmm. And it's not because of anyone. It's life. So again, for me, I'm not sure it has to do with the male female. I think intentions are very important. I think intentions on both sides are very important. I can't control anyone else's intentions, but I can be very clear in my communication that I value you, but you're not my husband. Yeah. Like, we can never be so close or have a conversation where I can tell you that he's getting on my friend's husband is getting on her last nerves. It's not because it's never us, it's our friend. So I can never tell you he's getting on my last nerve and you not also know that at the end of today, after I have whined and complained about him, I am most definitely going back home with him. I think what makes someone your office friend or your office husband is the fact that it ends in the office.
Now I'll just let you stop there because we don't have a lot of time for this part, but I love the direction of the conversation. And I think it's safe to say that we're still divided on whether Aisha is wrong or right, because Jide doesn't think that he's clear that she's wrong.
Tell your husband everything.
I think it's relative, to be honest. I think we need to also hear the office husband side of the story. But at the end of the day, what this means is it's all perspective and also just hearing different sides of the story. However, I'm still curious to know what men think about this. And in terms of the broad topic of this season, what do traditional men want from their wives? So, in the next part of this conversation, I'm going to start with Jide to hear his thoughts on what a traditional man would think about the office husband phenomenon.